When it comes to the COVID-19 virus, the big question, I think, is this. Are the various measures being enacted prudent, or is it something of an overreaction? And to help put this into perspective is Edmonton Sun columnist Lorne Gunter, who has just written a column entitled Using Common Sense During the COVID-19 Panic. Welcome to the Ezra Levant Show, Lorne.
Thank you very much, David.
Fantastic. Now, I guess that is the key question. When it comes to the common sense as it pertains to COVID-19, I think you play your hand very early in the column, Lorne. You say, frankly, I think the media coverage, financial collapse, and border closures are overkill. What makes you say that, Lorne?
This is not the world's most pernicious virus. This isn't the worst pathogen in the world, but you would get the impression sometimes from watching media coverage of it that a single droplet of COVID-19 is enough to kill you, so you must avoid, go cocoon in your house. My wife and I are currently self-isolating. We've been asked to self-isolate by the government, not specifically, but generally, because we were away in California visiting some relatives when the announcements were made that you should self-isolate when you come back. And so, we're not interested in helping to stress out the hospitals or healthcare workers by making more people ill. We're not ill we're not showing any symptoms ourselves at the moment. We have no reason to believe that we have the virus, no way of being tested. But at the same time, too, if we did pick up the virus while we were away, the infection rate where we were in California is the same as it is in Edmonton. So there's no reason to think that we are more infectious than the people who stayed behind in Edmonton while we went away. But we don't want to be responsible for infecting anyone else. So, the prudent thing is that this infection takes about 5 days to manifest itself in most people. You get your first symptoms after 5 days, but 99% of people have shown symptoms within 14 days. That's why the 14-day self-isolation. So, we have a friend who's been very helpful about bringing us groceries and leaving them on the doorstep. We had a lot of food in the freezer to begin with as a sort of hangover from a couple of big batches of chili and soup that I'd made. So other than being bored with our menu, I don't think we're going to have any problems that way. But nonetheless, do I think this is necessary? No, and the whole impression that's left behind that COVID-19 is somehow this horrible, deadly virus is largely overplayed. Is it more deadly than the seasonal flu? Yes, but I say that only on a case-by-case basis. You are about 10 times more likely to die of COVID-19 than you are if you get the flu. But so far, even as of this morning, as of the morning of St. Patrick's Day, we still had fewer than 200,000 people in the world who had contracted COVID-19. And most of those, about half of those, are still the original outbreak in China. Well, worldwide, there are going to be 1 billion people with the flu. So, many, many times more dead from influenza than from COVID-19.
Well, first of all, Lorne, I want to say you've some really good friends. I can't think of one friend in my roster that's going to put a bag of groceries on my porch. But secondly, you do make a very profound case for your point of view in the column, Lorne, when you use the numbers. And I'll read verbatim. At present, over 400 Canadians out of 36 million have COVID-19 and 4 people have died. So far this winter, there have been nearly 50,000 confirmed cases of the flu in Canada. More than 3,000 have died. Here's my question, Lorne. All these people that are stocking up on toilet paper and pouring Purell over every pore of their body and staying at home and using Lysol wipes to clean surfaces. I'm just wondering how many of them got their flu shot months ago when we were supposed to. And by the way, I asked this question with great trepidation, Lorne, because I know the anti-vaxxers are going to send me so much hate mail just for bringing this up. But I'm curious, what are your thoughts on this?
Well, as I said, on a case-by-case basis, COVID-19 is deadlier than the flu. But the flu, because it will infect far more people, will create so many more deaths. And yet only about 40% of Canadians will bother to get the flu vaccine. So that makes me wonder when a COVID-19 or COVID anything. SARS, for instance, back in 2003 was COVID-02 because it was first identified in 2002. This is COVID-19 because it was first identified in 2019. There will be a COVID 2020. There will be a COVID 2021. This happens. It's not as aggressive in terms of the number of people it will infect as the flu is. But it is deadlier to the people who get it. And still we know the flu's bad, but still only 40% of us will get the flu vaccine. When a COVID vaccine is developed in the next year or two, what percentage of people will go out and get it?
That's an excerpt from my daily show, the Ezra Levant Show. Every day I do a monologue on the news of the day, then I interview an interesting guest, and then I read my hate mail. You gotta subscribe. Go to rebelnews.com.